Guys, with March Madness approaching, I want to go back and do some reflecting on some of the greatest moments of all time in the tournament, give my opinion on them, and if I missed any, put in the comments below. Obviously, I missed a lot from the 80s, 90s. I was just too young back then. So let's start here. The first one, Kyle Guy, 2019 against Auburn in the Final Four. He gets fouled on a three-point shot. Obviously, a great moment here, but I can't say it's classic or iconic. Still a great moment for Virginia there, winning the final, but I'll put it in I remember it category, kind of a lower B tier, whatever. And then VCU 2011 knocking off #1 Kansas in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four for VCU. Kind of a crazy upset there. I will say it's I remember it category, not quite a classic moment there, but still very legendary for VCU. And then what is this shot right here? I think this is Bronson Koenig in 2015, I want to say, maybe 2016. Wisconsin beating Xavier, the #1 seed. This must have been a second round game for Wisconsin here. I will say I remember it, but it's not like an iconic moment or anything. A very good shot, though, for Wisconsin to beat Xavier. And then Jordan Poole in 2018. We all remember the three-pointer. He hits the three-pointer and then runs around the court. Very funny moment. I'll say almost classic. You always see it in highlight videos now for March Madness. It's definitely up there. Obviously, Michigan went to the championship that year, so very big for them to hit that shot. And then here's the big one, guys. Chris Jenkins, 2016, to win the final at the buzzer, the three-point shot at the buzzer. It's iconic. It's college basketball history right there. Always will be at the top. You know, highlight videos, promos, commercials, whatever. That's an iconic moment right there. Our first iconic moment of this video. And then a Ron Hunter falling off his stool in 2015 after RJ Hunter hits the big three against Baylor, the 14 seed beating the 3 seed there. I'll say it's almost classic. You know, it's a pretty big upset, a pretty funny moment. You always see it in highlight videos, but it's not quite iconic. And then here's one from 1998. Bryce Drew, Valparaiso, hitting the three-pointer at the buzzer against Ole Miss, the 13 seed. It's iconic. You always see it in highlight videos for, you know, best moments of all time in March Madness. Bryce Drew and his father in that very fun upset back in 98. Another Wisconsin moment here, 2015. Frank Kaminsky knocking off undefeated Kentucky. I'm going to say almost classic here. Kentucky was going for the undefeated season of the Final Four. They were 38-0. And a shocking upset here for Wisconsin. Frank Kaminsky, the player of the year. Definitely a classic moment there. And then Oral Roberts in 2021 knocking off 2-seed Ohio State. So I'm going to say it's overrated just because this game was at an empty stadium. This is the COVID tournament. And it kind of lacked the energy there in the arena to see this upset happen. So it's overrated for me. Also, Ohio State was kind of overrated that year anyway as a 2-seed. And then 2 years ago, Lamont Butler, San Diego State, the buzzer beater jumper to win the Final Four game against FAU and go to the final. I'm going to say almost classic, not quite iconic because it was San Diego State, not like a powerhouse team, but still a very fun game to watch back in 2023. And then 2011, I believe, Kenneth Faried, Morehead State, knocking off 4-seed Louisville at the buzzer, or almost the buzzer, I guess. It was a late game shot, a three-pointer, onions. That is definitely, I'm going to say I remember it. It's not quite like a classic moment, but you see it occasionally in highlight videos for March Madness. I will say I remember it here. Oh boy, UMBC beating Virginia in 2018, the first ever 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. And that is definitely iconic. I'll put it in second behind Chris Jenkins' three-pointer for Villanova, but it's definitely up there in iconic tier. Sister Jean also in 2018, Loyola's magical Final Four run. Guys, it's tough. I'm gonna say it's, you know, the highest of the second tier. It's almost classic. You know, just to be nice to her, I'll put it in iconic because you'll see this forever. Obviously, she's still alive to this day, but this run they had with Sister Jean, everyone knew about it. Everyone and their sister knew about it back then. It's barely iconic for me. And then this must be Aaron Harrison in 2014. He hit like those 2 big shots back-to-back games and like the Elite Eight and Final Four, like three-pointers. I'm going to say I remember it. It's not quite classic, but pretty fun to watch those highlights for Aaron Harrison and Kentucky back in 2014. What a crazy run they had. Going to the final that year as an 8 seed, I believe. And then Gordon Hayward against Duke in 2010. Heartbreak City, barely missing the game-winning shot to win the championship. I'm going to say it's definitely an almost classic, but considering he missed the shot, you can't say it's quite iconic. I mean, you'll see it in commercials and stuff for March Madness, but he missed the shot ultimately. Duke won the title, so it's not quite iconic for me. And then 2010, Corey Lucius in Michigan State, the three-pointer buzzer beater to beat Maryland, I believe in the second round of the Sweet 16. It must have been Sweet 16. It was a great shot. I'm going to say I remember it. I've seen the highlight videos a lot from it, but it's not quite classic for me. Just a very good shot to watch, though. Go back and watch the highlights of that game. It was a very intense final few minutes there between Maryland and Michigan State. And then Jalen Suggs, buzzer beater in the Final Four, 2021. It's top tier, almost classic, but because this game was played in the empty arena, I can't put it in iconic. Norfolk State beating Missouri, 2012. I'll say I remember it. It's not quite the biggest upset ever, so I'll put it in like B tier or like middle tier. And then Chris Chiozza's three-pointer, floater three-pointer to win the game in 2017 against Wisconsin. A great shot. I want to say overrated. It was like they lost, I think Florida lost the next round or whatever. It's not quite iconic. It's kind of overrated for me. A great shot, kind of like a lucky shot he hit there, but not the best moment ever. Jack Gokley last year against Kentucky. Obviously, he had like 10 threes in this game. Calipari's last game for Kentucky. I'll put it in I remember it. It's not like an amazing moment there, but it's still a big upset for Oakland. And then Northwestern State beating Iowa, the 15-2 upset back in 2001. I was too young. It's a big upset. I'll put it in I remember it. I don't remember it, but, it's up there. And then, Trey Burke, 2013 in Michigan, beating Kansas to go to the Final Four, hitting a long three-pointer. I'm going to say almost classic for me. It's a great shot. Go back and watch that one from 2013. FDU beating Purdue 2 years ago, the second ever 16-1 seed. Definitely, I'm going to say iconic actually because, Purdue had the player of the year in college basketball. They were a 1 seed. They were big favorites in this game, and they lost. A shocking upset. It's definitely an iconic moment for FDU there to win that game. Luke May, North Carolina, 2017 to beat Kentucky at the buzzer, the jumper. It's almost classic for me, but it was an Elite Eight game, not a Final Four game, so I'll put it in almost classic. Mario Chalmers, buzzer beater to tie the game against Memphis, or almost buzzer beater, in 2008. This game went to overtime in the final, and then Kansas won the game. Mario Chalmers, it's an iconic shot. Kansas won the championship that year over Memphis. Lehigh, 2012, beating Duke. For me, it's iconic. It's a huge upset. Coach K, Duke, they were in the prime back in 2012. They were a 2 seed. They were big favorites in this game, and an iconic upset for Lehigh to win this game. And then Farouk Manesh, 2010, Northern Iowa to beat number 1 Kansas in the second round. Almost classic for me. Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, 2013. This one's iconic, honestly. So many great moments from this team back in 2013, their Sweet 16 run. It's iconic. Dunk City. And then George Mason's Final Four run back in 2006, I believe. I will also say iconic. St. Peter's Elite Eight run back in 2022. I'm going to say almost classic. It's definitely up there, one of the greatest runs of all time. But they got blown out in the Elite Eight. Oh, my voice is giving out, guys. It's time to end this video. We have 2 more here. Paul Jesperson's half-court shot buzzer beater to beat Texas in 2016. It is almost classic for me. I'll put it up there with Jordan Poole's three-point buzzer beater. And then last one, Middle Tennessee beating Michigan State in 2016. The 15-2 upset, a huge upset back then. Michigan State was heavily favored, I think 20-point favorites in this game. And they lose to Middle Tennessee State. I'll put this in I remember it, but there's been bigger upsets since then. So guys, that's it for this video. The best moment of all time is Chris Jenkins at Villanova buzzer beater, and of course UMBC, and then Bryce Drew, Sister Jean, FDU beating Purdue, and Lehigh beating Duke. And then the worst moment here is, Oral Roberts beating Ohio State back in 2021 during the COVID tournament. I would say the most average moment here was probably Jack Gokley last year with Oakland. It's kind of a funny one. He went off that one game. They lost the next round, but whatever. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and if you have more moments, put in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.